Welcome to WRPL. It's the podcast where we talk about all the things we are watching, reading, playing, and listening to. My name's Ben.
And I'm Steve.
Welcome back, Steve.
Sorry,
Yeah.
my bad.
Yeah. For all you, crazy fans out there who are like, where's this gap? Whoa, did they die? Steve has a life and Thanksgiving and stuff.
It was the holidays,
It was tough. And, we may only get like another episode before the end of the year, just depending on. So, our end of the year wrap up, our top tens and best and worst and all that sort of stuff, we'll probably say for the first week in January.
Makes sense.
It's generally a slow movie month. Because there's still a few things like Avatar, Anaconda, Marty Supreme. There's other things to come out.
The big three.
The big three that may make our list. So I want to welcome back Nick. Welcome back once again.
Hello, thanks for having me.
We are talking about Wicked for Good and Zootopia 2. Those are going to be our main topics. We got a couple of small things, but as always, let's start with a roll.
18.
That was a good one.
I needed
All
that.
right.
16. Ooh.
Okay.
That means you have to roll low.
It's a 4. Here we go.
Saying 7.
You suck.
Okay, the podcast is over. I'm done.
Never taking you to a casino.
No, never. You never should. I am so bad at bets. Every Super Bowl, I mentally say, this is the team that's going to win. I'm putting money on this team, and I lose every single time.
And you have a 50-50 chance.
50-50. I'm not even going by points or anything like that. It's just who will win, and I'm wrong every single time. But if anybody said, hey, Ben, who are you picking? And then they pick the opposite, that's the time when I win, because they will actually lose money. All right, let's get some of a couple of trailers and stuff happen.
Let's do it.
I don't know if we'll have any thoughts on any of this. Well, first thing, Udo Kier died like 3 weeks ago.
Sorry, I missed that. What?
Udo Kier.
Oh, gotcha.
He died at 81. I'd say, looking at his, I know this guy's face. He's in a million things. You look at his IMDb and go, haven't seen it. I would say, and I told him when this happened, I said it to Nick, the thing you probably know him from is in Blade, when Deacon Frost kills the High Council of Vampires and they're on the rocky shore of a beach and they're wearing motorcycle helmets and they let one guy burn up in the sun. That's Udo Kier.
Got it.
All right.
R.I.P.
Okay, trailers. There was a Toy Story 5 teaser.
Didn't watch it.
It's
Don't
nothing.
care.
It's so nothing. It's just reactions of all the toys going oh, here comes the new iPad. Ah! And that's it. And it's whatever. We didn't need the last one. We don't need this one. Mario Galaxy teaser.
I did watch that.
Didn't really care about that first movie. But there are some shots of the paint on his little palette that's so beautiful looking. It's just amazing animation. And then it gets to the comedy and oh, look at Bowser caught his tail in the door. Isn't that funny? No, it's not. And I think they're jumping a little too quick to Galaxy. We didn't go to Land or World, or there's so much other Mario to do, but whatever. We got Rosalina, but before Daisy? Before Yoshi? I know Yoshi's going to be in this one, but that's crazy to get all the way to Rosalina.
Maybe they're just jumping ahead fast because they're trying to just expand the universe so they can
Get
bring
to the
in
Smash
everybody
Brothers.
else. Yeah.
Yeah. Which, speaking of Nintendo stuff, did you see the behind-the-scenes stuff of Legend of Zelda?
Some of the pics, yeah.
Oh, no, there's footage of people walking around in the forest,
Oh,
and
no,
you
I
can
haven't
see the crew going.
No, I haven't seen any of that.
It looks like Wheel of Time, Lord of the Rings. It looks like any sort of thing like that.
Sure.
We'll just have to see what it looks like, on film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to work, but I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. When you have a protagonist that doesn't talk, how do you do
Has
that?
never talked in the 40 years this franchise
it's
been around.
Nobody heard him until Smash, and that was all just trailer for Hunger Games: Sunrise on the Reaping.
I thought it looked pretty good.
I think it looks pretty good.
I still need to see the last one, but
it's fun.
I heard, I know.
It's not the best, but I enjoy it. I really like the cast of what's her fucking name? Elle
Elle Fanning?
Elle Fanning as young
Effie.
Oh, that's funny. And that's like the third person to play President Snow, but like everybody is like a really good cast. I just wish I didn't know the end of this one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much they're going to change it, but like I've watched YouTube videos of like people analyzing all the books to try to see what they can get from past Hunger Games, because sometimes it's none of them are mentioned, like a gap of 15 years, and we don't know what happened in any of those, but we know what happened at, this quarter quell, and this one with Haymitch being the dude. I know how his ends up, so, but anywho, I like Hunger Games. More
I do
Hunger
too.
Games.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, like Quentin Tarantino being in the news about either shitting on Hunger Games because it's just like Battle Royale, but like Battle Royale isn't the most original thing either. Like pitting people against each other is a human thing. We've done it before.
Yeah, also, like, Battle Royale is strictly... It's been a while since I've seen it, but it's kind of just like it throws you in and instant. There's no like world building. It's just like in this world, kids fight each other on this island, and then the last one standing like gets to live or whatever. And then like they don't really like delve into the bigger grand scheme of it all. Where like Hunger Games is like it's a political story.
Yeah,
and
it's more than just the games.
Yeah.
And Battle Royale is just the battle.
You can say like, oh, Hunger Games took that idea, but then they expanded on it. But that's Quentin Tarantino's built his whole career on taking stuff.
Yeah, and he's always said like the best directors steal, and it's like, okay, I can understand you take your inspirations from a bunch of things and then turn it into something else. Like Kill Bill is one of the best amalgamation of every martial arts movie he's ever seen. But like, you of all people to say this shit, fuck you, man. And then he comes out like shooting shots at Paul Dano, saying he's like,
all the people you could shit on, Paul Dano's
Paul
a crazy
Dano?
pick.
And Matthew Lillard too.
Oh yeah, it's
Matthew
like
Lillard. I kind of
that's fine. He was in The Name of the King, and that movie is terrible.
No, I love Matthew Lillard.
Which one?
I have nothing against him, but I can see like if someone said that, I'd be like, I that's your opinion, but I disagree. But like saying Paul Dano is one of the worst actors you've ever seen is nonsense.
You haven't seen enough Paul Dano. Like,
but it's Tarantino. He sees everything. I think.
I guess. I was listening to a podcast and they were talking about who should be the live action One Punch Man, because it was like a couple years ago. They're like, oh, they're going to make a live action and then it's an American version, and then they're like, One Punch Man is like the most nothing of a character design besides being bald. He has just like no features of his face, and like, who's the most plain normal looking human being? And I was like, Paul Dano. Paul Dano would be a real funny One Punch Man. But
I mean, I can see in the face, but he's definitely gonna like, do some Christian Bale, Chris Pratt workouts or whatever.
But yeah, don't shit on Paul Dano. And it's like, he still has a movie coming out, and it's supposed to be his last one. You're just
really? Oh, Tarantino. Sorry.
Tarantino. Yeah. Tarantino's
like,
his 10th film.
Yeah.
It's like you're just adding people to not like that, and then when it fails or it's not as good, everyone's gonna laugh at you. It really should have been his last one. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is like the perfect ending to his career. He really should have stopped there, because Kill Bill 1 and 2 are 2 movies. You are already at 10, buddy. I know you think that it's 1, but they are 2 movies. Anywho, regardless. And then last trailer I saw, I know you got one that you were going to bring up. Well, we'll just The Boys.
Yeah, Boys Season 5 trailer came out. This is a show that I believe I've said on here, like, I'm kind of, like, ready to be over, because as the show has gone on, it just kind of, like, bums me out, because everyone is a piece of shit and evil. But even though there is, like, fun stuff and cool violence and, like, solid jokes, I'm just kind of like, okay, I'm tired of seeing all this, like,
all these anuses and penises blowing up.
No, I'm just tired of like the
world,
the Make America Great Again sort of like subplot and all that. Just like,
but if any show can do it right,
I get why, and it works. It's just it bums me out.
Yeah. Well, at least it's the last one, and you can be.
That being said, trailer looked pretty sweet.
Pretty good. So,
there's some shots of characters like, I think that's a character from Gen V, and I never saw any of that, so I'll figure it out.
And there'll be plenty of videos to give you recaps, and they always do a recap before the season. They'll include all the Gen V stuff you need to know. And then I saw a trailer called How to Make a Killing. Did you watch this?
Yes, I did watch this trailer.
This looks fucking sweet. Yeah. I'm really excited for this. It's what's his fucking name?
Glenn Powell,
who is part of this super mega rich dynasty, but he's like not gonna get any of the inheritance because there's so many other cousins and stuff. And,
there's like 8 people ahead of him or something.
And was it Margaret Qualley?
Yeah.
Who's just kind of like, well, once you get that money, hit me up. And he's like, oh, okay. And so he just starts killing all of his family members so he could be the last one left. I'm for it. There's a movie we were talking about yesterday that where the guy's killing people for that job interview. The Asian movie.
Oh, No Other Choice.
No Other Choice. And there's another movie about it was in I think a Korean film about a woman who wanted to get this really nice apartment, but she had to be on a list. And so she started killing off all these other people to like...
I don't like this trend.
To get up, to move higher up on the list. And it's like, I love these types of movies where it's like, I'm desperate to do what it takes to get what I need, whether they are justified in it or not. I don't know. I think they'll make Glenn Powell kind of justified in doing these things because they'll make the rich people as shitty as humanly possible. But I don't know. I like this trope. I think it's fun.
All right.
Cool. That's it. So I lost. Steve won. You go first.
I read a comic book I read today. It's called Meadowlark. It is written by Greg Ruth and Ethan Hawke. Ethan Hawke,
Oh.
yes. It is the story of a troubled youth and his relationship with his dad, all set in a single day. His dad is a prison guard, and he takes him to the prison because he had to take him to work with him that day. A riot ensues, prisoners escape, and they're like, there has to be somebody on the inside, and no one thinks it's his dad. Turns out it's his dad. And his dad was just had some financial problems and had to do this to get square with everybody. And it's just him hunting down the 3 guys who who tried to kill him and his son, and their relationship, because this kid really loves his dad, but his dad's like, I'm a piece of shit, son.
Mm.
And
did he purposely put himself in this prison to get at those guys?
No, he works there.
He works there.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I didn't.
Yeah. And it's real short. I finished it in 45 minutes, I think. And it's easy. I can see it's very the movie's here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that just because it's a comic book and it's essentially storyboard. It would be very easily adaptable. But that being said, I think it needs to expand on some things. You really don't get a lot of time with the kid and why he's really troubled. It's just he doesn't like his stepdad, who seems like a nice guy. And you don't really get at the beginning you find out he's expelled from school, but you don't really find out what he does, I don't think. And then the villains are the 3 escapees. They're kind of interesting characters, but you really don't know anything about them. It's all just goes. And I think we needed to see, there need to be extra scenes in here for me to really hate these villains and care about these characters just a little bit more. But I like the father-son dynamic, and I think it'd be a pretty cool movie if you do kind of a Taylor Sheridan, Hell or High Water kind of style.
Okay.
That's kind of how I see it.
Okay.
It's a solid book. I'm going to give it a B-. But
Black and white, I'm assuming?
no, it's kind of a beige color.
Yeah, let me see. Because it looks like a regular book. Oh, okay, I see what you mean. That's exactly what it is. It is black. It's beige and white.
Beige and white, yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, so it's solid. If the name Meadowlark is from his dad was a boxer, and that's kind of how he got in trouble with certain people, and his name was his boxing name was Meadowlark. I don't remember them saying
that sounds like the name of the prison.
Yeah, I don't remember if they explained what that is or not. But anyway, so maybe I would change the title. But other than that, it was cool seeing Ethan Hawke write a comic book. I don't think it's his first one. But yeah, pretty solid story. Quick, easy. I think it'd be an hour and 45-minute long movie. Nice and tight. And I think the dad kind of looks a little bit like Ethan Hawke.
Okay.
There's some characters in here. I'm I think that's designed after a certain actor, but I don't want to say it is.
And maybe they want to get this made, and sometimes it's easier to get your script turned into a comic than it is to get into a movie. But if your comic sells well, then the studios start calling.
So this comic was printed in 2021, so it's been a few years, but we'll see. Good luck, Ethan Hawke. I know you need it.
All right, Nick, you got second place. So, what's your stuff?
I got tons of Asian stuff, or Asian centric. But well, first I was gonna say death. Hiroki Tanada, Shang Tsung. He just died the other day.
Did he?
Mm-hmm. He's been tons of stuff, but I think Shang Tsung is what we would.
Yeah,
Bummer. Big
that
bummer.
is a bummer.
But okay, so I finished that show, Last Samurai Standing, which I think I talked about before, so I won't get into like the plot really.
Yeah.
But I will say it ended really nice, but also not, because I thought this was a 6-part thing, and it's season 1. I'm so tired of everything having to be multiple seasons. Like, as it was getting to the last like 15 minutes, I was like, this isn't gonna wrap up. Oh my god, this isn't the end. But I don't know if you remember they're all competing, and then there's like rich people trying to get them all to kill each other. They did add some more lore to it. There's like a guy who's on.
They stole that from Hunger Games.
Yeah, they stole that from Squid Games.
Yeah, most people say it's like a Squid Games type thing. But there is like a military police guy that, you know, the twist is he's in on it, kind of, whatever. And then there is a cool subplot, which is probably my favorite part of the show, where the main character and you find out he was raised and trained with this one guy when he was younger with a bunch of other like siblings, but they weren't like really related, but they are all together, and they escape from his camp when he says that when they're done their training, they all have to kill each other, and whoever's the last one standing will be like inherit the school. And so one of them escapes, and then they all decide to escape. So then that master is just hunting them down forever. And that's like his one thing. He said, like, I'll come kill you if you know, you try to escape or whatever. But when they make this tournament with all the samurai, I think he starts following it because he knows they're all going to be in it because they were all samurai, and that's the goal. The real goal of this game is to kill all the samurais. That's really what they're trying to do. And there's a little more to it, but yeah, really good sword fights. Awesome, like the way it's shot. I'm really impressed with. And really awesome last episode. You get to see some like fights that you were waiting on. Yeah, it's really, really good. I don't know the name of the actor, the main actor, but if they make a Ghost of Tsushima movie, this guy would be a great Jin Sakai. Okay. So yeah, I mean, I do recommend it. It has 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, but I think it's one of those situations where there's not enough to complain about it. It's more like there's just no bad reviews. I'm not saying it's like perfect. But,
sure.
And then do you want me to just rapid fire?
Yeah, go for it.
I watched a movie called The Prosecutor. I think this is just a couple years old. Donnie Yen is the lead. It's based on a true story, which actually kind of made it kind of cool. But basically, he's a cop, decides when he sees like justice doesn't always work, he decides to become a prosecutor instead. And then he ends up on this case many years later where this kid is basically innocent. He let a drug dealer use his address to have drugs shipped to him, and then he's basically going to be in prison for a long time. So he's trying to help him. So there's some good courtroom stuff in it, but most of it is it's like a 2-hour movie, I would say, just about, and there's 4 solid action scenes in there, which I think is pretty good for that. They're all great. The opening action scene is like, it's less of a martial arts, more of a shootout thing. It's shot so cool, like just following around, and then suddenly you're in first person for a second, and then really cool. I don't know how many cuts were in there. I couldn't tell, but it seemed like a lot of like long takes. And then the final fight is great. They're on a subway, so it's like a lot of spinning around the poles and stuff. And it's Donnie Yen. I mean, he's one of my favorite movie martial arts guys ever. One of the first guys that I ever saw in a movie like bring Western like MMA into martial arts. If you ever see a movie called Flashpoint, I think it's from 2007. I probably talked about it before. There's like a 7.5 minute fight at the end of that movie with him. That's incredible. It's him versus the guy who played Ghost in the Matrix movies, the guy with the sunglasses. Sure. I guess he's really big over there, but yeah. Prosecutor, pretty awesome.
And you said what year did it come out?
The Prosecutor? Yeah. I think it's like 2021. It's not old. Okay. I watched my physical copy of it, but I did check after. It's on Amazon. Okay. I would recommend it, and I did really like it. Only gripe, and I have this with a lot of Chinese movies because it is a Chinese movie, seems to be the only language that I struggle to keep up with the subtitles. Way more than Japanese.
They're very fast.
It's so fast. Yeah. There's sometimes I was like, wait, hang on. I wasn't even through that line yet. Like, damn, and fancy myself a pretty good reader. So, but the last thing I'll say about it that I didn't realize, I had all that praise for the choreography, really good action scenes in it. It's directed by Donnie Yen.
Oh,
I didn't know that until it came up at the end. I didn't bother to look at how many movies he's directed, but being the lead and behind the camera in this movie, really impressive.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So, and then lastly, yes, it is Asian. It takes place in Japan, but I did see Rental Family.
No spoilers. I'd like to see it.
Oh yeah, I can definitely do no spoilers. You already know the premise. What can I say without? So there is more to it because he has other family members. There are other cases that he has to deal with. One of them is like an actor that's aging. He used to be real famous, and he's posing as like their daughter hires Brendan Fraser's through this company, which is called Rental Family, to come and interview him. But it's not. It's for a fake magazine. It's just kind of he's getting older. He wants them to feel important, and then more things. Most of the most emotional things, and this movie definitely is like there to pull on your heartstrings. Sometimes a little too much, maybe a little heavy-handed, but it means well. But the stuff that hit the hardest was that storyline for sure. There's some really good stuff in that.
Is there a part where someone from one family sees Brendan Fraser acting in another part and they go, wait a minute, I thought you were my XYZ, but you're doing this? That doesn't make... Okay, all right.
Yeah, definitely. But I won't, because...
okay.
Yes, a moment like that occurs.
Okay.
It's really good. I don't know how much I would go back to it, but as I was watching it, like, I didn't check my phone hardly at all. There's not any action or anything in it, but I don't think there's any wasted scenes. That's what I would say. Like, I don't think there was never a scene where I felt like that didn't belong. And I'm sure when you see the trailers, you would want to like try to, how are they going to end this? Because, you know, he's got to like be the dad to this young girl, but only for a short period of time. I can't remember if they show in the trailers, but she's trying to get into a school, like a private school. And the mom there's no, that's the other thing. I learned some stuff about Japanese culture from this movie that I did not know, which that's probably my biggest praise because I watch a lot of stuff from there. There's some interesting things I didn't know about their culture, but one of which the girl's not going to be able to get into this private school because the mom is single. There's no dad.
Oh.
So they're hiring him to pose as like the American father so they can do a joint parent interview to get her into the school.
Okay.
But he's only with her for a little bit, and then you can tell in the trailer, it's like, I was thinking, how is this going to end? How's he going to like break this off with this girl? Because it's very obvious from the trailer that he starts to
Murder-suicide?
Yeah. No, they do. I really like how they handled it. And yeah, I definitely do recommend it. I don't know where it'll end up on my like favorites or anything of the year, but I gave like an 8 out of 10, and I really liked it. I didn't cry, but the storyline I was saying earlier, there's some moments where I was like, damn, that's hitting. But yeah, I liked it a lot.
All right, cool. My thing, something I've been wanting to talk to you about for a while.
Let's do it.
All right. Are you reading a book right now?
Yes.
Have you just started, getting close to the end?
It's an 800-page book, and I'm like almost at 700.
Okay. I would like if you could make this your next book you read.
Okay.
I loved it so much. And it's a book you recommended to me.
Oh, okay.
Is The Devils by Joe Abercrombie.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay.
It took a minute to get it on my Libby app because a lot of people were wanting it as well. And like the last book I read, it was like 8 hours, and this was 25. And so it's big, and I had to sit and listen to it at home before I go to bed on my breaks. I wasn't watching YouTube videos because like I had to get through this. And if I'm only able to listen to an hour when I'm going to work and coming home from work, I'm not going to get through this. So, and I had it on like 1.5 speed. That's what I listened to everything.
Yeah.
But I was not following it at all. So I had to take it down to just normal speed because there was just a lot of information at the beginning. But I'm glad I did. And it really I didn't feel like I was just like barreling through to get it done. So the story is about, it's this alternate world where like
because it like takes place in London or something like that, or like England, right?
No, it's more like it takes place on their trip to Troy. Because like the Trojan horse, like they mentioned the burning of the Trojan horse that failed. Okay. So and then Rome was never able to conquer this area, and so the world changed a bit differently. And so we have like it's pretty much Christianity, but there's like the Eastern and the Western, and they all kind of believe their own thing. Like one has, they have their symbol is the circle, and the other one is the wheel. So it's like pretty much the same thing, but
That's pretty funny.
but so it's an alternate world, but it also has elves and werewolves and things like that. So elves are bad people who skin us and eat us alive, and it was a war back in the day, and we pushed them back. They're in the Far East, and there's prophecies that one day they'll rise up again, but that's not really the main story. They have found a young beggar girl on the street and realize she is the lost daughter of the Queen of Troy, who was usurped by her sister. And they finally find her. Like, we got to get you onto the throne. Your aunt is fucking nuts. She's splicing animals and humans together to kind of like find the location of the soul. And all of your cousins are psychopaths. We need to get you on the throne. And the Pope is a woman, and it's a little girl. And it's the prophecy is like she's the next coming of Christ, pretty much. And they're like, well, we got to get you there, but you need a ragtag team of crazy monsters to help you. So there is a pirate woman or former pirate who's like a jack of all trades. She kind of has a story about she has done everything in the past, and she's like super sexy. And then there is a knight who has been cursed by a witch, and he cannot die, and so he's just like covered in scars and looks like his arm has been chopped off and sewn back together, and he just is, every part of him aches, and he's just in constant agony all the time, but he's fighting for the church, and that's his whole thing. Like, if he does good, maybe God will eventually let him die. And he's been around for a couple hundred years. He fought in like multiple crusades and stuff. So they're like the church figureheads, and they bring in a priest who is kind of just like a bookkeeper, but they need him. And then the ragtag group is, there's this young elf who's been captured, and she could turn invisible when she holds her breath. And there is a vampire who is like extremely old, but through the book it'll be like, he looks a lot younger now because he was off feeding on a bunch of people. Mm-hmm. And then there is a necromancer who is like absolutely pissed that he's being held captive, and he'll do anything to get out of this. And it's like, I will burn all of your fucking corpses as soon as I get the chance. And his whole thing is, bringing back the dead to use to fight. And then there is a werewolf, and she is like a Swedish Uber woman. She's just this massive Viking who got bit as a kid, and she's got all these tattoos of like warnings of like, don't trust her, dangerous, because like her village wanted her dead because she's a crazy werewolf. But she's like kind of stupid, and all she cares about is like fucking and fighting, and she's so funny. And that's the thing I love about this book, is it's really funny.
Yeah, Joe Abercrombie, I've read 9 of his books so far, and he's very good at like making all of his characters funny, mm-hmm. while also badass.
Yes.
And also like in general pretty smart, and like mm-hmm. But also very good at characters who you might like in the beginning, you hate at the end, and vice versa. Mm-hmm. He's very talented.
Yeah, I was cracking up listening to this book. It was like, there's just simple things of like, the girl was backing up and hoping the elf would find a way out of this. Next chapter, the elf couldn't find a fucking way out of this. I'm going to tell you just like one scene that made me die, and I had to like rewind because I was missing parts of it. So the necromancer, they all are bound by it's called like a papal. The papal binding, and it's just like a smudge of blood on their wrist that the Pope did, and they're like there's no runes to this, it's just a smudge of blood. You think that's gonna bind me to this wannabe princess? And so the necromancer's like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. But the moment he starts thinking I'm gonna escape, he's like about to throw up. He's shitting his pants. Like if he even thinks about trying to break this seal, it hurts him. And so he does it multiple times, trying with all of his might to do it. Can't do it. And it's like, wow, shit. If the Pope's just like smudge of blood is like strong enough to hold me, like maybe she is the next coming of Christ. And so he gets to one point and he's like, fuck it, I'm done. and calls upon a demon. It's like Satan's right-hand man, or right-hand woman, actually, opens this gateway to hell. Everyone's freaking out and covering their eyes because you can't even imagine how horrible this thing is. And this demon's like, I will do whatever you want. I will enslave countries and I will give you all this power. And he's like, the only thing I want for you is to break this goddamn binding. And the demon's like, oh, no, I can't do that. I'm out of here. Just bails real quick. It's a lot of fun. It's super gory, really violent.
Yeah.
Like there's some horrifying Resident Evil type shit at towards the end. And I had a blast. Favorite book I've read in a long time.
Awesome.
And I guess James Cameron has like bought the rights to turn it into a movie. Can't be a movie. Too much stuff in here. Needs to be a show. Absolutely. And some people were complaining that the writing is very repetitive, where we talk a little bit and then we get into a fight, and then we talk a little bit and now we're on a ship fight, and then we talk a little bit and now we're fighting sandworms, or that doesn't happen. Yeah. But it's always just kind of small setup, big battle, small setup, big battle. And I can just see the show as like, okay, yeah, of course, this is what you do to keep people interested in every episode, as you have these really great epic battles. It would make a terrific television show. And it makes me want to look into some of his other books and see what else he's got.
Yeah, I mean, from what I understand, this is kind of one of his. His like first law world is what he's known for, and all of that is like super well received. And I really enjoyed those books a lot. But this was the first one where like people were kind of like divisive on it. Like I kind of think people like there wasn't a lot of like I disliked it. Some people sure, but a lot of people were just kind of like it was okay, or not what I was expecting. And then other people were just like I really enjoyed this book. So it was interesting. Like when that came out, it was like very highly anticipated among like the fantasy book world. And then it came out, and it was just like oh, it's not like his best thing. But I'm very happy that you loved it because as I was reading that thing, I was like, oh, this is like right up Ben's alley.
100%.
And the only reason I like haven't really dived into it yet is because I thought it's a new like series, and I usually don't jump into a series of books until like that series completed. Even though he's very good about like putting out a book every year or two. So I'm sure like in the next 4 years, if it's a trilogy, it'll all be out probably. But still, I just don't like.
I can definitely see that
if he gets in a car accident and I just read book 1 and I'll never read book 2 and 3, I'll be like, Jesus Christ.
If this ended as is, it's perfectly fine, I think.
Okay.
But
I mean, I think it's supposed to be a series. Okay. But if it's just a single one, yeah, I'm going to knock it out.
My only complaint is I wish I knew more about history when they make mentions of certain people. I don't know if that's a real person or if it's someone that they're making up, because yes, this is our world, but there's also fucking elves and werewolves and stuff. So I bet some of the stuff, the lore of the world is just lost on me.
And so this takes place, you would say, in like medieval times?
Yeah, there's no vehicles, there's no airplanes. Okay. People travel by ship.
Got it.
I'd say the 1500s. How about that? I know so much about history. I just don't know.
It's just sometimes with fantasy books, you hear the story like, oh, and you would just assume it's medieval times. Like, well, actually, it's in like, 1890s England or something like that. Okay. Well, there's like a little bit more to that. But, okay.
Cool. All right. So we got 2 main topics: Wicked for Good and Zootopia 2.
Speaking of monsters, Wicked 2.
Oh, but like I have more to say about Wicked for Good than I do about Zootopia 2.
We can go with whatever order.
Let's do Zootopia 2 first. Okay. Zootopia 2 picks up just like a week or 2 after the first movie, even though it's been 9 years.
Not long.
And they're on the case of another thing, and they got to prove that they are not one-hit wonders, and more animal racism, and let's throw in some colonialism in there. And and it's a Zootopia movie. I didn't care for this movie.
Okay.
I thought it looked nice. I didn't find it as funny or as charming, and the plot is just kind of similar. And we have another mayor who's in, either evil or in the pockets of evil people. It just felt like after all this time, this is all we're doing. Okay, it's nice to add reptiles in, but I was not really engaged with this story at all. There's a fun, Shining reference. But
that was good.
But I think none of the jokes really landed for me. None of the emotional parts really hit me. And I think the main problem is it shouldn't have been a week after the first movie. this should have been a couple of years, and maybe they've had a slump. Oh, you are one-hit wonders, and that's why she needs to prove it. But she just comes off as really annoying, Judy, I'm talking about, of like, now we got to go and do this. You just did an amazing thing. You could ride that for a bit. And I just didn't really care for it.
All right. Nick?
Did you see it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I was about to say. Yeah, I agree with most of what you're saying. I think it's a very timely movie, as the first one was, but more so than even the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Just talking about the division and stuff that we have going on in our country. Not to get too political.
Yep.
But
save it for the next movie,
of course. Yeah, I agree with you. It's definitely not as funny because I rewatched Zootopia 1 just randomly. And even with it kind of just as a background thing for me, because I remembered most of it, it was pretty funny.
Yeah.
There's some really funny moments in that movie, and I don't think I laughed like out loud. I might have got a couple like, in there in this one, but I'm not saying I didn't like it. I'd say it's fine.
Yeah. I give it a C+, mainly because it looks really nice.
Yeah.
And I like this world and I like these characters, but the story's just more the same. We got to bring the sloth back. We got to bring his little baby accomplice guy back. We got to bring the guy hawking bootleg DVDs. It's just more of the same.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with most of what you said. I think it's totally fine, but after the wait that we had, I don't know. I feel like it feels like it's just there to. We're definitely going to get a lot of money out of this.
Yeah.
So, and good on them, because it did.
Good on Disney. They deserve it.
I see your complaints. I did like this movie. I didn't love it. Zootopia, the first one, I don't know if it was my favorite of the year. It was either number 2 or number 1.
Yeah.
Like, I really, really love Zootopia. And it's been a long time since I've seen it, but I remember just like, this looks great. It's really funny. It pulled on, all the emotional stuff worked. I liked their relationship. I liked the mystery of it all. And so, yeah, I agree. The big complaint of this movie is it just kind of feels like the same story just told slightly differently. 100% agree. That being said, I did have a good time with this movie. I do like that. One of the things I really enjoy about animation is that you can have a kids movie that has like adult things in it and things that will either go over kids' heads, or you can just go like, wow, I see the underlying message that maybe the children don't. And I feel like this movie is like kind of adult, and I appreciate that about it. Like even just a scene where Nick gets captured and he's like in the like paddy wagon, and the Lynx just like puts his like claw in his hand, and like you actually like see it like scratch him and stuff. Like obviously there's no like blood, but it's like, oh, you don't see characters in animated movies like get injured like that. And so I just like really appreciate that this is like a bigger story that you really like kind of need to pay attention to, and like the mystery of it all I was like invested in, and it like kind of kept me guessing at times of like,
yeah, I didn't see the twist.
Yeah, I didn't see the twist coming.
And I feel stupid. I didn't get it.
But I didn't see it.
So yeah, I just appreciate that. I wish my thing that I want from this movie though is if we're doing like the erasing of culture and like that kind of thing, and like changing history to like favor this versus and like eliminate this group, like I think that's a really interesting story. And like, yeah, it's like kind of the same of differences aren't bad, they could be a good thing, and like we shouldn't like judge people by like what we assume their nature is. But I wish we kind of like leaned in more to that, because it just kind of seemed like in the background. Because like when Gary gets back to his like great grandmother's house, and you see this like Native American Mexican inspired like homestead and stuff, and like that just should really like hit me, and that like scene didn't quite do that. As charming as Kiwi Kwan is as a snake, I liked his character. I just wish like I kind of cared more about him as a person, because even though he's in it a lot, it kind of just felt like he was in the background.
I kind of forgot he was going to be in it for the first part of it, and then he shows up. I'm like, oh yeah, there is a snake in this movie, and then he kind of disappears again.
Yeah. And it's the only snake we see. I wish we saw like snake culture, considering it was like the thing that cast them out.
Yeah, all reptiles. Like, where's the crocodiles?
When we went to the marshland, we saw all these like lizards and stuff and tortoises. Just like, oh, okay, so we see all these people that like you're not really even talking about because we're like worried about the snakes, but we only ever meet one snake until the very end, which like doesn't really count because it's just kind of like, oh, there's more snakes here now. Goodbye. But for me, like, it's all about, like, does the emotional character beats work? Does this relationship with Nick and Judy work? And I think it still does. But, like, I agree, they kind of made Judy, like, a little bit annoying. I thought they would, like, give Nick a little bit more, like, agency in terms of, oh, all these things that I was trying to tell you, like, I was right about, but you weren't listening. Where, like, it kind of just seemed like Judy was right all the time. And it's like, I like Nick as, like, he seems like he doesn't care, but he actually is smart and good at what he does. And so, like, I liked their relationship stuff, but I just don't think, like, I think it could have been handled a little bit better.
And the police are so inept. Like, they're just bumbling idiots chasing them, but our leads are so stupid, they're always leaving a clue behind for them to be found. Like, you could outrun these dudes so easily if you just, like, weren't so stupid.
Yeah. I think the scene where they, like, tell each other how they feel, I think that scene worked. That scene worked for me. I liked it quite a bit.
But they didn't kiss.
No,
and like, that's fine. They don't need to hook up. That's why I was hoping the Lynx would be her new, fling. But that's the relationship, and they are just really good friends, and that's fine. But that's another problem of it taking place 1 week after. Nick hasn't learned to grow at all, and it seems like he never really wanted to be a cop in that first one. It seems like he just kind of fell into it.
Yeah.
And he's just the same character. He hasn't tried to become a better cop at all. It's just give him 1 year. 1 year since that first one, and I think it really would have helped a lot of the relationship stuff.
Yeah. The only other thing I'd say is just like you look back at old, and I know they would never do it, and I totally get why, but I think about that Nazi Donald Duck cartoon a lot. And just like how fucking cool that was that Disney was just like, you know what? Yeah, we fucking hate Nazis. Here's a cartoon why they're bad.
Yeah.
And like, I just wish like Disney did more shit like that. It's like we're at a time where Nazis are at an all-time high. It's like, wouldn't it be great if we had like a Zootopia movie where they're just like, yeah, guess what, guys? We fucking hate Nazis. It's like, you know what? Put Nick Wilde in
into that SS uniform,
and just like really go like, no, don't put Nick in it.
Yeah.
But my point is just like, if we're doing this like erasing of culture, if we're doing racism and all this stuff in this world, I love it. I think it's a great message for kids. That being said, I think this movie just should have leaned into a little bit more because Disney, you have the track record. Just get behind fucking hating Nazis.
No, you can't, but you can't. Even like we talked about a couple weeks ago, how like you were kind of sick of seeing Nazi stuff because it's always used.
I'm not saying I want Nazis.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, because Disney was willing to do that 40 years ago.
But Disney, like now.
Or not 40 years ago. Yeah. 80 years ago, whatever the fuck. I can't do
that. You got to placate to everyone. Like, oh, there was.
You have Marcus to serve. I get it.
And Elio, the mom or aunt was supposed to be gay, and then they were like, no. We saw that people had a fucking shit fit during Lightyear about this singular scene. We're going to change that. So there's no way they're doing anti-Nazi stuff. There's too many Nazis who will pay good money for their movie.
With that being said, I had a good time with this movie. I'm going to give it a B- because I still think it's worth a watch. I had a good time. It's not nearly as funny, but I'm always a sucker for like any sort of puns in this movie. And there were a couple parts that like got a light like chuckle or a out of me, So I want this franchise to continue. I like this franchise. I just hopefully the next one just switches it up in some regard, other than birds.
Yeah. I didn't stay for like as soon as it was done, like, okay, I want to get the fuck out of here because I just wasn't having a great time. And then the Shakira song, came up. I was like, I ain't staying for this shit. And I fucking left. And then it wasn't until later that like, oh yeah, there was a bird feather. And it made me realize, oh yeah, I don't recall ever seeing birds. Just like in the first one, I never thought, where's all the reptiles?
Yeah.
Never even thought about it. And I guess I'm an animal racist. Birds. Exciting. What's their thing gonna be?
I can only imagine it's kind of one of those things of like, oh, we're above you kind of things. Like they feel like they
more
have a cloud
stuff.
city or something like that. They're, well, we'll see.
I'll say in 9 years. All right. Any last things, Nick?
No.
All right, cool. Let's move on to Wicked for Good. It's been a year since the last Wicked movie, and now we're finally following up on the second half of the play. The second half that everybody agrees is worse than the first half and not as memorable and has worse songs, and it totally shines through. This movie fucking sucks so hard. I hate this movie so much. And I don't mind the world, and I don't mind these actors and these sets, but this story is dog shit. And if you want to adapt because the book is very different, and if you want to adapt it into the play and change some things, that's fine. But my main problem is their obsession with trying to connect Wicked to Wizard of Oz.
Mm-hmm.
And it fails so hard at that. And there's no need for that. This can take place 20 years before Wizard of Oz ever happened. And, you can have that gap, but they're obsessed with getting it to connect and then now overlap. And it's handled so poorly. And I got lots of examples, but this is absolutely going to be on my worst of the year. Probably top 3. This movie sucks.
Oh, you didn't see it?
No, we talked about it before.
Oh yeah. But yeah, I mean, I don't know where to begin. I mean,
justify yourself why you gave this like a 7.5 out of 10 or even an 8. I think maybe
I think I gave it a 7.
Even if every song was like a number 1 smash hit, I can't see giving this an 8 for story. The story structure is so bad.
I mean, it's definitely
justify yourself, Nick.
It's definitely a lot worse. I mean, my first comment would be, why'd you even see this movie? You didn't like the first movie.
Steve said, next week we're doing Wicked. And I said, I always make you watch the shit you don't want to see, so I guess I will. And then you didn't go see it.
I would say, that would be my first question. It's like almost like, man, I hated this first movie, but I'm going to go watch the second one. Yeah. Especially if you did happen to know that it's widely considered worse. But hey,
it was only for this podcast.
If you're a glutton for punishment, then you did it.
If Steve was a big Five Nights at Freddy's guy and said he's itching to see part 2, I'd go see it so we can talk about it on the show. But I ain't seen that shit.
That's fair. No. Yeah, I mean, I definitely don't like it as much as the first one. I think the only song would be For Good that I will ever go back to. It feels chaotic. There's a lot going on. The pacing is crazy. I just like the characters. I wasn't really bored. I mean, the first one is so good, and I would say this is a step down. I don't know. I think I agree with everything. Like I said, I agree with everything. It's much worse than the first one, for sure. But I think if this is something you enjoy, this kind of stuff, you'll still find some enjoyment in it. And I think that's why I did. Yeah, I mean, I like these characters. I still laughed a little bit. The whole 4, I honestly, up until the 4 good number, I probably was a little closer to what you're saying. Like, I definitely remember watching and thinking like, man, it's just not hitting. It's just not hitting like the first one, which is like a movie that I gave a really high score to. But yeah, maybe it's just that the 4 good number really hit. Also, what's the other really big one? You would know because you've seen the play. The really with Elphaba, her big one where she's in the tower and the monkeys are finally joining her. And
I don't remember the
Monkey
song.
Tower song.
Monkey Tower song. That number. I know that's a really popular. Whatever. I'm not gonna look it up. That song. I thought that was pretty good. The one where she's screaming Fiero's name or whatever. I will say I hated that thing, them getting together. That's gonna be
we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
We need Steve's opinion before we start getting into super details.
Okay, well then I won't. But yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna defend it to you. I'm just gonna say I still liked it. I like these characters, and it's a few notches down from the first one for sure.
And as someone who has only recently seen it, first one is really fresh in your mind. You didn't have to wait a whole year. How did this stack up for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe that helped in my, I'll say, enjoyment of the movie. I don't hate this movie. I get your complaints, and when as you go off on your tangent rants of why this is one of the worst movies you've ever seen, I might be like, oh yeah, I see what you're saying, and maybe I'll lean more towards your direction. But I more or less had a good time with this. Yes, the songs aren't as strong. I think everything that was good about the first movie is in this, in terms of like the filmmaking aspects of it. Like the costumes are all still good.
Mm-hmm.
The set design's still good. Production design's really great. I think that your two leads are still good, even though they're like the problem is like
No
there's
good deed.
no good deed. Okay.
That's
The problem is, I think the big reason that the first movie works so well is because they're together pretty much the entire movie. Where this one they're so split,
Mm-hmm.
and so like that separation, while like narratively is what like makes the story, it like kind of hurts the dynamic because like these are the two characters you care about and they're barely together a lot, and when they are, they're just kind of like arguing until you get to the end where you're like, oh man, I do really like these two together. So it's a little bit of a shame there, and I think that's the first movie was fun, and this movie's dramatic.
Yeah.
But I think the Tin Man looked pretty good. Some people disagree, but I liked like giving him something, like seeing that little munchkin become a rage-filled Tin Man. I thought worked for me.
I have seen a lot of praise for his
I wish
performance or whatever.
I cared more about like the animal plight that just kind of seems to be like tossed to the side, where it's just like, I get Elphaba is the outcast, so she looks out for the outcast and she's protecting these things, but I never really cared enough about the animals. And it's like I should,
because the wizard's plan is so stupid. Like, hey, all of the problems in Oz stem from these talking animals. Oh, what problems? Shut up. What problems are going on in Oz? They're like, oh, we gotta build a road that leads directly to the wizard. They have a train. Why do you need a walking road? Like, they have like high-speed rail system already. Like, what is the big problem for him to justify doing all this? He doesn't have one.
Yeah.
He's a terrible wizard. Everybody's really actually...
Well, he's not really a wizard.
Well, okay, he's a terrible, charlatan. Or I guess he's a good charlatan, but his plot, his motivation is stupid. Everybody's bad at this. Like, Elphaba has a book that only she can read that does crazy things, and she doesn't use it to stop the wizard. She could probably blow him up if she wanted to. She gave wings to monkeys and stuff, but she doesn't use it at all except to turn him into the Scarecrow and the Tin Man.
Yeah.
And, like, stupidest fucking plans ever. Let's talk about them real quick. They got those backwards. Completely backwards. Okay, I'm going to save Fiyero. He's getting beat up. So I'm going to turn him into a straw man so he can't hurt anymore. Okay, that seems stupid. Turn him into the Tin Man so he can fight back and not get hurt anymore.
God, I would love to see that ending of just like the Tin Man with an axe just
going nuts. And then and you can still do the hard thing. Like, she tells him, get away from me. We can't be together. He has a broken heart. He's the Tin Man now. Perfect. And then with Bach. With Bach, it's like, what's her, Rosa Nessa Rose can go to Elphaba and say, he is obsessed with Glinda. I want him to stay with me. Can you wipe his mind of any memories of her so he only loves me? And turns him into the Scarecrow, who needs a brain. Because the whole time in The Wizard of Oz, he's just like forgetful and stupid and doesn't know what's going on. Well, that's perfect. Now he's the perfect boyfriend, and then he can go get lost for Dorothy to find. That's another thing. They set Dorothy off. All right, you're on your way. And then they turn him into the Scarecrow after she's already left, but he's still in Munchkin Land. But she doesn't find the Scarecrow until further down the road. So they're so obsessed with lining these things up, and they don't even do it properly. It's like, why does he need to turn into the Scarecrow? And why does he need to... Exactly. It's like, I understand the lion. This is the baby lion. Hey, guys, that's going to grow up to be the Cowardly Lion. That's kind of cool. That's it.
Coleman Domingo, too.
Coleman Domingo, yeah.
Lines.
So, but we don't need everybody else. And then so you have Fiyero, who's the Scarecrow, who they don't show him really going on the journey with Dorothy, but why is he there? Why is he going off to find the wizard? They don't talk about him losing his mind and being stupid. The Elphaba in Wizard of Oz has her monkeys rip him apart, but she knows that's her boyfriend. So it's like they're obsessed with trying to make these things connect, and it doesn't work.
If you're basing like their journey off of the 1929 or whatever like versions, like it doesn't make sense because like that's the version, but that's the version like everyone has in their mind. So like if you're going based off this movie and that movie and trying to connect them, you're gonna have some like consistency issues that just don't make sense. Now, if there was a like Wicked version where you saw the Wizard of Oz and then like a third movie that shows Dorothy's journey, but like now in more context to this version, you can maybe do some wiggle room. But if you're just going off of like, oh, we're connecting everything to the original source stuff, then it's like, oh, well, yeah, that's silly.
Yeah.
I mean, the concept of, like she made the Tin Man, made the Scarecrow, I think that's a fun idea.
Sure.
And like you could do some cool stuff with that. And I think like them trying to do that is interesting and fun and like a cool way to do that. But if once it's like, oh yeah, that's her boyfriend, and if it was just like, oh well, I turned him that way so he could like low-key stop Dorothy and all them from like killing me, like he's my secret agent in that group, that would work. But if you're watching the original movie, it's like no, he has no connection.
He has the most connection to Dorothy. At the very end, she even says like, oh, bye Lion, bye Tin Man, and bye Scarecrow, I'll miss you the most. They had the most connection. So your boyfriend is just off gallivanting with some teenage girl to come and kill you? It doesn't make sense. And they find the Tin Man like rusted out in the woods, and then they have to use the oil to get him, and like, oh, now I could finally move and I'll join you on your venture. And this, he's just like, I'm gonna fucking kill that bitch. He's just like bloodthirsty, and he's there from the get-go.
You have to like fill in, you have to make up your own story for this to make sense, and just like eliminate the actual Wizard
And if this
of Oz.
is like an hour longer than the actual second half of the play, you have the time to make some changes and fix it, and you don't. It's just an absolute mess.
Yeah.
And you know the fucking lion, what an idiot. He's just like, oh, Elphaba, don't trust her. She let me out of my cage. You mean the cage that would keep you from ever speaking again? She let you free. Why is she the enemy? She gave the monkeys with the wings and stuff. I'm like, yeah, the wizard tricked me into that. She doesn't try to explain herself at all. She has all these opportunities to do anything, and she doesn't do shit. And then the only other magic person, which is weird, you have this, because isn't Shiz a magic school, but like nobody does magic?
Yeah, they never really show other people.
It's like, okay, is it just school and you can learn magic, or is it like Hogwarts? You know, like I'm not sure what the point. And is it like high school, or is it more like college? And so then you have the headmistress, Madam
Marble.
Marble?
I think so. Yeah, Marble or Marble with a
okay. Madam Marble. Yeah.
Okay.
But like I think it's just a general school. Like I don't think Munchkins are inherently magic or any of that. I think like
when they found her having magic, they're like, oh shit, someone has real magic.
So, it seems like just a normal school with. You can learn magic if you have that ability, but it just seems like...
But Glinda was going there specifically to be like the queen of all magic bitches, and she couldn't do shit. So it's like there's got to be magic with other people, but you just don't see it. Aren't they in a class together when she does... Or is that just the animal racism class? And she puts everybody to sleep with the flowers and stuff like that? So you're in magic class with a bunch of people, but nobody can do magic? And you have all this power to knock people out with flowers? Use it again! Like, knock people out! Like, all she does is, like, try, disrupt the construction of the yellow brick road, but it doesn't do anything. They finish it anyways. And did you see that cool kickflip she did onto her broom? Pretty sick.
It was fire.
That was great. I laughed. It was a pretty big theater, and I was cracking up.
Yeah, I think part of the problem...
He just gets up and leaves after that.
It's like, okay, I've seen enough.
I think, if you saw, like, it has something to do with, like, industrialism and stuff, because that's what Emerald City is, and it's like, oh, I'm not magical, but I have technology, and you see that by like them building the Yellow Brick Road, they're like knocking down trees and displacing the animals. Like that could elevate that storyline of like why I need to help these creatures because they're losing their homes, but we don't really see any of that. It's just like, an open field, a great place to put a road.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
And the animals are like, we got to get the fuck out of here. Where are you going? to the desert wasteland? What are you gonna? There's nothing there. There's nothing in the surrounding Oz is nothingness, and haven't read the books, but in Return to Oz, you touch that sand, you die, and so like you're going off to your death. This place has like an environment and food and stuff. Like, why are you going there?
Yeah, I don't remember if it's implied or if they specifically say it, but isn't the idea like the wizard is actually like from our world and he somehow got to Oz and then because that's how like Dorothy essentially got there. Like he is from our world,
but we don't know how. It's just kind of because I think in the original books it's like Oz is a magical place on Earth, but you just don't know how to get there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, but I always thought Oz was supposed to be Australia. That's what at least as a kid, like because in Australia they'll call it Oz, but it's like AU, whatever.
Yeah. All right, wait, hang on. I'm gonna forget. I already forgot 10 of the things I was gonna say because you were just like.
I was going off.
Here's everything that sucks about this movie. I don't disagree with a lot, but I'm trying to remember some of the stuff you said. I think the animal thing. Yes, it doesn't make sense. I think he's using them like he wants everyone to hate them, so they're so focused on that so that he can kind of it's like a politics.
It's propaganda.
Yeah.
But what's his end goal?
Yeah, no, I think he just wants to control everybody. I think the school was like almost. I don't know if they ever said this, but I kind of got. It was almost like they're trying to find somebody who actually does magic through that school because he doesn't know how to use this book, and he wants the book to be used to try to also control people that way. And then I think the alpha, again, this is going to sound stupid because I wish in time I could have, when you were saying stuff, I think I agree with a lot of the alphabet stuff. It's like, but I thought there was like something in the first movie or even in this movie where she doesn't really understand how all the spells work. She's not like a master of them yet. She might be a master of, grinding on her broom, but I don't think she's like a master of the book yet.
Okay. But she's willing to risk Bach's life by like, I guess I'll try this thing.
Yeah, I don't know. Or maybe she didn't think it was going to turn out that way. I'm not sure. But it definitely seemed like she was still trying to learn the book a little bit. Okay. And then I also, even if she did know something about her character, I feel like she doesn't want to attack and destroy him and kill him or anything. I think she just wants to, and she definitely could have gone about, like, this is where I definitely agree with you. I wish she would speak up more, instead of cryptic messages in the sky. Like, why don't you just fly down and be like, everybody back the fuck off and listen to me real quick. But I don't think she wants to kill him or anything. I think she just wants to kind of prove to everyone, hey, this is a charlatan controlling you guys. I'm not a bad person. He's the bad person. But I don't think I think she's inherently good. She just doesn't want to.
She's just really bad at getting her message across.
And I do agree with that.
And the people of Oz, of Oz are so stupid. Like, they should be easy to convince because they're like, hey, animals are bad. Absolutely right. Yeah, fuck those talking animals. And then at the very end, like, no, the wizard was bad. Animals are good. Yeah, she's right. Animals are good. Just on a dime, they can flip. So, like, they're the easiest to manipulate people. So she's, like, extra bad at it.
There's a group of people like that right now.
Well, yeah.
Another thing I wish... So, if the heart of this story is Elphaba and Glinda, I think the real, like, other thing that could have elevated this story, and I don't think it's really delved into it in the musical from what I remember, but the relationship with her sister, because like her sister always just seemed in the first movie was like the sweet girl in a wheelchair that she looked after, and who like they clearly loved each other, and then Elphaba went off and did this thing, and now Ness is doing this other thing. Like, we really should have saw that relationship either like kind of like devolve, and then it's like, oh well, like, you're my sister, Glinda's not your sister. Like, Nessa should have been jealous of Glinda, and like Nessa should have had scenes with Glinda. I don't know if they've ever actually spoke to each other.
The dude she's obsessed with is still pining after Glinda. She should absolutely hate her.
Yeah.
So there should have been something there with her that really set her off on this like villain arc that made her the Wicked Witch of the West. East, sorry. And it's just, I think that's just kind of rushed. To like her being evil. I think there should have been something there, even if it was like the spell that like she didn't quite control, like made Nessa angry, and so like set her off on like made her to where it made sense why she took this evil path. And so I just wish there was something there other than just like the boy I like is not really into me. But I'm evil now, or whatever it is. So that's kind of a shame. I think there should have been more with that. I think my favorite sequence, a thing I liked in this movie is
there's some things to like.
There are some things to like.
I'd love to hear them. I'd love to hear them.
I liked Glinda's "Girl in the Bubble" song, where she's like walking through an apartment. It's the best directed sequence in the movie.
Oh, with the mirrors?
With the mirror stuff?
Yeah.
I think that scene is great. I think emotion, and I think it's an original. I don't think this song is in the music. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I think
this was written for the movie.
It's like that one and the song she sings with the animals. I think are the two new.
So
and
I think
it's Wonderful way extended. I read.
Okay.
So I think it's a good song. Because usually when you have this added song into any movie that's like a musical that they have to we have to get an original song Oscar, so they always throw in something new. You usually tell and like, oh, this song doesn't quite work that well in this, but I get why it's here. Whatever. I think the song works, and I think the scene works, and I think like all the mirror stuff is really fun directing. I wish there was more of that in this movie. I think that could have elevated. And I said this in my review of the first movie. While I love a lot of the technical aspects of this movie, I don't love like the glossy, heavy CGI sheen to this movie, which like I get why you have to, and I don't know how you really do it elsewise. I kind of wish there was more practical looking things in here, because it just kind of makes it look sillier to me. But it is a musical, so it's all silly in that regard. But at the end of the day, did I like walk out of this movie going like, ugh, what a complete waste of time, or I hate it? I didn't. I was just like, I'm glad I saw it. I'll never see it again. So for me, I think I'm going to give this movie a C, because I think I gave the first one a B, maybe even a B plus. But I think it was a B. So this is a step down for sure, but it's not, a total piece of shit, as you're making it out to be, even though I get where you're coming from, and I can totally see anyone in your, because you don't like musicals. No. So there's a lot stacked.
I like musicals when they're comedies. Make me laugh. Don't just sing your emotions or sing the plot.
There's definitely stuff where I can see like it's going against it. But I think there's enough here to go like, this is a fine adventure that you would want to see the conclusion of after watching the first one. It's just a shame it's like kind of like such a tonal shift from the first one to this one. So yeah, I hear you, Ben. I'm just gonna go with a solid C, not a D or an F or whatever you're giving it.
I am giving it just a straight D. That straight D. Couple things I want to bring up. Their sword fight, ridiculous, stupid. It was so embarrassing.
Shot with like almost like shaky cam and like an any action scene. It was like that scene looked so weird in comparison to the rest of everything.
Madame Morrible's singing,
awful.
Oh my god! And it's like I feel bad because apparently Michelle Yeoh said, "I don't want to be a part of this. I'm not a good singer," and they kept persisting over and over again. Like, cool, you really want her for this role? Get someone to do the singing for her. Because it was awful. And I know it's her second language, but it was real bad.
That has been widely, everyone's been saying that. Actually, I said that when we left. I saw this one with my mom, and when I left, that was the first thing I said. I was like, man, she was rough.
Yeah.
But I actually am surprised at how big it's become online. People are really hating on that. But because they did Crazy Rich Asians together, I think he just wanted some more representation.
Sure.
And it is such a bummer watching so much hate on her, especially after what you just said. And just, when she was younger, she was in so much stuff that I love, so I just hate seeing people hate on her. But
Michelle Yeoh's great.
I love Michelle Yeoh so much.
Meant for singing.
Nope.
And one thing that I really liked, not in the movie, but seeing afterwards, is his scarecrow face and the Tin Man costume and makeup. In the movie, I think look like shit. I think you don't see any detail. Looks really bad, especially Scarecrow face. embarrassingly bad.
But we didn't get a ton of it. It was just like a moment
At the very end.
Yeah.
But it's like as big as the whole screen. It's like such an up-close shot, and it's like, ew, this is so gross. But I saw photos of the makeup and the prosthetics on Instagram, and I was like, damn, these look great. These are some really good, highly detailed things that don't show up in the movie at all. Yeah. I think that's it. I mean, I would have to rewatch it again to pick out
Please don't.
more terrible things. But do you think they'll do a part 3?
No.
There's a lot of books that the Wicked musical is based off of. Like the next one is like Son of a Witch, and it's about her and Fiero's child. Like even though in the books Elphaba does die.
You say part 3. Do you just mean like another movie in this universe?
It would be Wicked : something else, and it would take place after. And I think even in those books, Dorothy comes back, and then there's still the Elf Frank Baum books you could adapt. There's still a lot of stuff out there. I can't see them not making another one.
I think that I can definitely see them making another movie in this universe, but you seem to definitely know more about the books and stuff. So, and you probably do too. But yeah, I could see it, I guess, now that you mention it. But I don't think. Do I think we'll see like Ariana and
yeah? I think they wouldn't. You can't make it without them unless you have a really charismatic lead to be Elphaba's son.
I wouldn't want to see them again unless they weren't the focus. I don't want to see another movie that focuses on them. If they just kind of pop up or something, maybe help that. But yeah, do I think they will? Probably. But do I think it'll focus on those two? Maybe, but I hope not. Yeah. I know I said what I gave it, and I do agree with most of what you said. I think if you did really like the first one, and like Steve was saying, you just kind of wanted to see the finish of it. I think you would have enjoyed this more. I mean, obviously, if you had liked the first one more too. But I think like if you went into it and you're like, that wasn't my thing, and I'm only begrudgingly seeing this because I'm kind of being forced to or whatever, you were ready to hate it. And then it's also not your thing. And it is also a lot worse than the first one. So I think like in no universe were you going to come out like, you know what, For Good was kind of good.
You know, I agree with that.
But I that being said, I'm not saying your points aren't valid. I think there's things outside of the movie that made me like it more. Just like going with a family member, you know.
Sure.
And just because I did like the first one, I just wanted to see, you know, these characters again.
As I said, the actors are good. The music is fine. It's not memorable to me, but it like I didn't hate it. Even though every time they started singing, I was like, "Oh fuck yeah, this is a musical. Let's hurry up. Let's get to the next actual scene." But like all the stuff around it is good. It's just the storytelling,
especially
terrible.
In this one.
It's so bad.
It's very rushed, and everything that he was saying too, like, and you like, I think trying to forcibly fan service tie in all this stuff with the original. Where while I still like.
That was the musical, though. Like,
and
all that
you
stuff.
have to do it. Like, if you change it completely, people would be pissed. Yeah. And I get that.
Maybe
it just baffles my mind that they made the musical and it has all these plot points in it. Like, really? The boyfriend turns into the Scarecrow? Why? Why? There's no logical reason for that. Like, rewatch Wizard of Oz with all the context of this movie. It's ludicrous that you would do it this way.
It's probably mostly just to have those same moments that I had when watching, where I was just like, oh, he's going to be this, like a minute before it happens, like he's going to be the Scarecrow, or he's going to be, you know, just to have those like, oh moments.
And just like introducing Dorothy, like, I'm going to cause a tornado to bring her in. Like, but why? Did you mean to pick up that specific house and that person? Or did you just want to bring a tornado in and it happened to grab her? What is the point of it? If there was some sort of prophecy about someone from another world coming to destroy the evil, like, okay, that's fine. You could work it in as being a witchy thing, but it's just her like, I'm going to create weather, and then boom, a house is dropping on Nessa Rose. It seems so quick.
That seems like a moment, like maybe when they're writing the musical, or if that moment's in the book, I don't know, that they were just, whoever was writing was just like, wouldn't it be cool if this was what happened, but they didn't focus as much on like, why would this happen?
The Wicked book I read, and I hated the book. It made no sense. Like, weird things in it. Nessa Rose, she's not in a wheelchair. She has no arms. Okay, she flies. She has magic powers and flies around on a broom or whatever. She just has no arms, and it's like the shoes. That was her. She's got legs only, so she's got the fancy shoes. Elphaba melts in water, and she has to like bathe in spices to keep herself clean. And like she was born in a swamp under a clock. It's like a weird thing that when they adapted it into the thing, they just like, no, get rid of this. No arms. How you gonna? No, get rid of this shit. So it's like it's so different from the book, and and that book is bad, and then the play is bad. It's just like it's crazy that
the play's not bad. The play is.
I mean, no, like I never seen it, but if this is what it is, just in a more condensed form, I don't like that play. That like I like Oz the Great and Powerful better than this. Like that's bad because that's not a very good movie.
Yeah, I don't remember liking that, but like I said to you, I'd watch it again.
I'd watch it again, but
I still want to see Return to Oz.
Return to Oz is the best one.
I know a lot about it, but
you want weird, you want dark. Return to Oz is where it's at, that makes sense. That follows up Wizard of Oz. Amazing, it connects.
I've never been a fan of like the Wizard of Oz. Yeah, honestly. So
I like. There's things about it that I like. I liked it as a kid. It's a great like Thanksgiving Day movie that was like always on TV.
Wizard of Oz good.
Yeah, it's like I like Wizard of Oz and the technical feats that they had to go through and like the injuries that happened to the woman who played the witch. She got lit on fire at one point. Like there's a lot of bad shit. The makeup for the Tin Man almost caused him to die because it was so thick. Like his pores, were completely clogged. It's like a complete shit show. But I do really like that movie.
It seems like they learned a lot about how to make movies from the mistakes they made. I got nothing against the Wizard of Oz. I'm just saying I didn't grow up like that. Wasn't a movie that I was playing in the house regularly, so I had no ties to it. So maybe it is a little weird. I liked Wicked as much as I did, but yeah, it won't be on my worst, but it's not. It'll make you feel better. It's definitely not going to be on my top. I was doing out my top, and I have way more than 10 that I need to whittle down. Like I think it's been a really good year, so this will not be in my top 10, but I liked it for the most part.
Yeah. I think I'm done ranting. Steve, any final words on this?
I have a coworker who's obsessed with this movie.
Okay.
I bet everybody has at least one coworker.
Well, she was like in love with the very first one, and I remember talking to her about it, and she had like minor gripes, but she still really loved it. She's like, if Ariana doesn't get an Oscar for this, it's like she's not even probably gonna get nominated this year.
Not at all.
Like,
did she get nominated last year?
No.
Yeah.
For this role?
Yeah, they both got nominated for Oscars.
Did they?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's all I said when the first one came out. I just wanted her to get nominated.
And you know what? I'm totally fine with those choices. But I think this year, neither one is going to get nominated.
I don't think.
And not that their performances in this are bad. It's just like I don't think the material in the movie itself elevates them to any sort of like real degree. No. You had the novelty of the first one. Now all that's gone. So yeah, I don't need to see more Wicked movies. I mean, I'm happy to go back to Oz if there's new fun takes and interesting things. Like, you know what? Remake The Wiz. How about that?
Okay. Yeah, I don't mind. I remember our first episode of This Meets That, and I didn't hit record, and I wish I did. And, we mash up two things. And my example was Wizard of Oz and Rocky. And I pitched like a 5-minute, new version of Wizard of Oz that is more boxing themed. And it was amazing. Like, let's do more of that. That's fine. You can take the archetypes from that thing and turn it into something. I remember there was I wish I remember who it was, but there's like a rap video where it was Wizard of Oz and like the Cowardly Lion is just like in a big pimp coat to look like the main.
Nice.
The Tin Man was like a boombox robot, and the Scarecrow was like stuffed with money. It was just like, that's a fun, silly little take. Oh, yeah. Let's do more of that.
That seems like a face-off reality show thing.
Sure.
Like that'd be fun too. I think like it'd be so easy to just go, okay, we're doing another story in Oz. It's now 30 years after the original, whatever. The Oz, or the Wonderful Wizard of Oz, he's dead. Because he's just a human. He's going to age out and die.
He took off in a balloon.
Well, sure, yeah. Or whatever. But yeah, so like, who takes,
Ozma.
the throne now?
Ozma.
Is that in Return to Oz?
Mhm.
Okay, I never saw Return to Oz. All right,
You
well then
should
never mind. I
fucking
don't know what the
watch it,
fuck
man.
I'm talking
Watch
about.
Return to Oz. It's fucking cool. The Wheelers are scary as shit.
So I'm just saying, there's more you can, I'm sure, make up in this world.
Yeah.
It's not like I don't, at least, like I said, you know more. Like, is there like a real deep lore in Oz, or can we just make up our own shit? You know,
It's like I know he has a bunch of books, but they were really just kids' books. They were fun, silly stories, and then we have just made it more important and darker and deeper than it really is.
Yep.
Okay, let's be done. All right, next week, if Steve can get around to it. And it's an easy week for you. Okay, there's Ella McKay. We don't care. Silent Night, Deadly Night, the remake. I'll go see that. You don't have to. But Knives Out 3, Wake Up Dead Man, will be on Netflix by next week. So that will be our main topic. Any last words? Anybody?
Are we gonna kill us?
Speaking of Knives Out, stabby stab.
I think there was a Sesame Street that did like a Forks Out parody.
I watched the first 30 seconds and then I didn't finish it. But I was like, Sesame Street does really good.
Yeah, they did like a Game
parodies.
of Thrones one, but it was like musical chairs.
Musical chairs is good, yeah.
So they're great.
Yeah.
Fun PBS, damn it. All right. Well, if you want to get in contact with us, we are at WRPLpodcast@gmail.com. We're on Instagram, TikTok, Threads, and Blue Sky, even though I haven't posted on TikTok at all. I love using it as an app, but I'm over posting on it. It's pointless. So I'll put it on Instagram, put it on Threads and stuff that a new episode's out. That's about all the promotion I do for this goddamn shit. Nick, thanks for coming again. Do you want to plug your anything?
Nah, as always, just happy to be here. And
Can't even tag you anymore. You got rid of your Instagram, so
I hadn't used that in so long, so you were tagging me for no reason anyway.
Okay, all right. Anyhow, well, as always, I'm Ben.
And I'm Steve.
And keep consuming.